Hey Artnerds, today as part of my How to Draw Flower series, I'm going to teach you how to draw a beautiful magnolia. We're going to be working from reference. This is the reference that I'm using, and I'll pop a link down in the description below to where you can find the original source if you'd like to work along with me today. We're going to be using a Blick Studio watercolor sketchbook, a mechanical pencil with H lead in it, and later we're going to be using a Sakura Pigma FB to ink. So not only am I going to show you how to draw a magnolia, I'm going to show you how to ink a magnolia as well. We're using a harder lead because it allows us to draw a lighter sketch underneath, and it's going to be a little bit easier to erase later on. So for our magnolia, we start by drawing a disc shape, and this kind of encompasses the whole shape of the flower. Then in the center, you'll notice that the stamen and the pistons, they form this large conical shape. So I drew a line to indicate that. Now I'm going in petal by petal and breaking the flower down into the individual petals, trying to capture the shape that I see in the reference image. So I really recommend when you're new to drawing something, you work heavily from reference and you try to draw what you see, not what your brain is telling you it looks like and not what your memory tells you it looks like, but what you actually see, because you're building up a mental reference. So I also want to point out that I do not draw this fast. This video has been sped up by about 2 times. So if you're new to drawing flowers, it is going to take you a little bit longer to get comfortable with it. That's perfectly fine. So we have our 5 petals drawn. Now I'm breaking down the shapes that I see in the stamen and the pistils. So that's our base flower shape drawn. Now we're going to go in and add a few more details. So when I'm drawing just about anything, I like to work from big major shapes and then break them down into smaller, more complex detailed shapes. This allows me to not get too focused on any one area at any one time, and it allows me to build up the detail as I go. Now, I'm not aiming for a photorealistic depiction of a flower, and that's not what I'm trying to teach you guys today. I'm a comic artist who happens to draw a lot of flowers, and I happen to love flowers. So what I'm going for is capturing the essence of the flower rather than a photo depiction. And I think this is a very approachable way, or a very approachable approach for showing people how to draw flowers. Since we're not going for perfection, we're going for a cartoon version of our flower. So here is our finished flower sketch. We're going to be doing a lot of the work using the pen. We're inking with a Sakura Pigma FB today. This is a waterproof and alcohol-proof brush pen with a very fine point. And in my other How to Draw Flower videos, I extol its virtues. So I'm just going to focus on talking you guys through the inking process today. So I am using a little bit heavier of a brush stroke, applying a little bit more pressure when I'm drawing the magnolia, because magnolias are such large flowers and the petals are fairly sturdy for what they are. When you compare them to other flowers, magnolias are not ethereal flowers. They're pretty stolid flowers. And growing up in Southeast Louisiana, I saw so many magnolias, and I never really thought about them as like, oh, these beautiful stately trees with the gorgeous flowers. I thought about pelting my friends with the cones that those trees produce. So I don't have this like sweet, soft Southern belle viewpoint on magnolias. I have this like little tomboy throwing cones at other kids viewpoint on magnolia flowers. So I sketched, or I inked, our first 3 petals. We talked about this a little bit more in some of the other How to Draw Flowers videos, where we draw the petals that overlap other petals first, then we draw the center of our flower in whatever shape it may take, and then we draw the petals that are behind the pistil and the stamens. So unfortunately, my hand is covering up a lot of what I'm doing, but I'm still working really heavily from the reference, and I'm trying to capture some of the detail, but I'm trying not to make it too overwhelming. since magnolias are primarily white with a little bit of brown and a little bit of yellow, you don't want to add too much black to your inks because that's going to weigh it down too much. So we've got a pretty good start on inking our magnolia blossom. We have our first 3 petals and we have the center of the flower begun. Now I'm going to start inking some of the drooped. I'm not sure if these are the pistils or if they're part of the stamen. I think they're probably the pistils though, but I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments below. My floral anatomy could definitely use with some improvement. And now that I've got the center inked, I'm going to start inking the petals that are in the background that are being overlapped. And if you guys can hear that leaf blower in the background, I do apologize. Since everybody is stuck at home under quarantine, everyone's decided it's time to do their lawn. So the thing about inking, especially if we're inking something like a magnolia where there isn't a lot of ruffles to the petals themselves are fairly smooth, and if they twist and turn in space, they do so kind of slowly and gracefully and smoothly, is you really want to have a steady hand for this, and you really want to pull your lines in one go if possible. And that means you're pulling your lines using your whole arm, using your shoulder if possible. If not possible, at least using your forearm. You want to avoid inking with your wrist and inking with your fingers. So now I'm inking in the background leaves and the background branches. We're just about finished with our magnolia. If you guys have any questions about drawing flowers or any questions about drawing in general, you can let me know down in the comments below. Or you can join me on Saturday nights. I host a Power Hour live stream where once a week I teach a different art workshop live for you guys, free to attend, free to the public. So even if you're not a patron, you're welcome to come. Of course, if you like what I do and you want to help support my work, you can join me on Patreon at patreon.com/nattosoup. We added in just a little bit of heavier spot black on the stems where the petals overlap. And that's about it for our magnolia. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. We'll be drawing daffodils. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.